Can everybody hear everything? Maybe. A little bit?
Put it near your mouth.
Can everybody hear me?
Can everybody hear?
Yeah.
Good, okay, so we just have to be like right on it. We only have the one microphone, so that's gonna be a problem. Let's do it that way. We only have the one microphone, so we'll just do like a little pass thing. Hello everybody, thanks for coming to the Affordability premiere episode of Lil D TV. I'm Cameron Smith, I'm the creator of this show. The reason I put the show together was because I didn't have no money, so I had to come up with a way to fund something, fund my bank account, using the only skills that I had, which is I have a camera. Denton's a wacky city with a lot of stories to tell, and I come from a documentary background anyway, so that's what I did, and here we are, almost a year later, and all these people. Woo! Bless everybody for coming out. So today's episode, we have on the panel. This is our first panel premiere because it's a pretty heavy, loaded discussion that we're talking about. And wait till y'all see the episode. Grab tissues. But anyway, this is Eric Pruett. Here, let's just do everybody introduce yourself. And yeah.
I'm Eric Pruett.
With Stronger Denton.
I'm in Stronger Denton, if you've seen stuff, and I live in Denton. I like it.
What is Stronger Denton?
Stronger Denton is just a group of people loosely affiliated as what they call it Strong Town's local conversation. It's just some people who get together and talk about how to make a city better and what the problems are from a livability and fiscal and infrastructure and transportation and affordability and all that stuff all wrapped into one because we all want a better Denton.
And what's your civic job?
I earn $0.00 chairing the Planning and Zoning Commission.
My name is Terri Tharp. I am just a regular retiree.
You still have a heck of a story, though. Like,
I'm Reagan Gilliland, and I'm one of the co-lead pastors at First United Methodist, right down off the square.
PRICEMASTER?
I'm the PRICEMASTER.
Okay. So I guess here's the question I asked everybody in the episode. Do you guys, from your perspectives and with your educations and life experiences, do you consider that we are in an affordability crisis?
Yeah.
Let's ask the crowd. Are we in an affordability crisis?
Yes.
Okay, well that was pretty unanimous. What are some examples of what that's like globally and in Denton, and how does something like that affect the people of Denton? I guess we'll start with Eric.
I should not have sat this close to the moderator. I think when this occurs, you see cracks in everything, right? You see cracks in families, you see cracks in just people trying to figure out what they can do to scrape by and to make it. And that involves, typical things that you hear as far as crime and blah, blah, blah. But it also just affects, people have less time with their significant others, with their families, with their friends. Cohesion in the community breaks down because you have less time and less embracing of relationships, and you just have this downward spiral. So I'm very optimistic tonight, if you can't tell.
Just wait till you see the episode.
I think one of the biggest things going on right now for especially older people is when you are down to the point of choosing between going to the doctor, getting your medication, or getting food, or paying your electric bill.
Yeah.
You stole my answer. But yeah, I mean, everyone probably in this room has had some point in their life where they have struggled financially, and the toll that it takes on you mentally, physically, all the things like not going to the doctor, not treating things is enormous. And I think a lot of people, when you're in survival mode, like for extended amounts of time, I think it can severely impact your health, for one thing. But I mean, people do not operate at their best, and I mean, I liked what you said. It takes away time for family to do things that are good to address mental health. It takes away time to do things that bring you joy. Like when all you're doing is stressing and working and so tired and exhausted, like that is not living. And I think we need to be a place that provides avenues for people to actually have life that is like good. I mean, I'm gonna try not to sound super pastoral, but like we need to create avenues where people can have this like abundant life where they have joy and laughter, and a lot of people don't have that right now.
Well, hold on to the microphone.
Okay.
From your position at FUMC, what are you seeing the congregations talking about? I mean, you'll see in the episode with first meal and everything. Like, what are you seeing? What are you seeing?
Yeah. So at our church, we serve a meal called First Meal every Sunday morning. It starts about 6:30, 6:45, sometimes early, depending on kind of weather. And we've seen an uptick in people coming because as we've seen, a lot of people that are facing being unhoused are newly unhoused because some of them have jobs, but like they still don't really have a place to live. It doesn't mean like necessarily you're living on a street. It means you're couch surfing. It means you're living in your car. You're doing extended hotel. Like it's all kinds of things. But our congregation has seen this uptick, and we've seen people, being kicked out of our town, or like we don't want to see, especially because our church is right by the square. Like we don't want to see it. This is where all the tourists are. We don't want to see it. And so there's been a lot of harm. And so we've seen that pain of feeling like they're a burden. And one thing that we strive at our church is to give those folks a sense of dignity. Like we're learning their names, and so we can ask week to week, or when they miss, because it is a community, we can ask like, hey, we haven't seen Michael in a while. We haven't seen Bill. Do you know where they are? Like we check in on them. But our congregation is like, what can we do? Like we do want to do more. And so that's a question that we were talking about all the time in our congregation of what we can do more of.
Terri, one of the things that I was so verklempt by seeing in your story, which you'll see in the episode in a little bit, is how. So, what's the name of that senior community that?
I don't remember.
I forget the name of it, but the one that is getting shut down, and they're bulldozing, and they are giving people their rent to find a place, but we all know how rent works. Anyway, we were taking a walk through there where I met you up, and
I know many of them.
You know many of them. Can you talk to the community aspect of poverty, of this kind of life? How much, branching off what you were saying, how much of a community comes together in times of struggle like this, and what that does for you guys?
Yeah, I live right next to where that community is, and I personally know many of them. I walk my dog Judge through there, and many of them adore him. He's just a 115-pound big baby. And my heart breaks for them because one day their lives were absolutely normal and functioning fine. And the next day they got a piece of paper that said, you have 1 year to move out. And many of them are, one lady in particular that my heart breaks for, she has outlived all of her children. Her last son just recently passed away. So she has a nobody. So an elderly lady that has to move out of a place that she's been in for over 20 years has now got to move out within the next year. That is, in my personal opinion, is the most disgusting thing that I can really think of. These people have been there for 20, 25, 30 years. And now they've got to look at just what to do with their lives and their home and their belongings within the next 365 days. And I became friends with a lot of them. I talk with them, we'll sit and have glass iced tea, they'll pet my dog. And you know, when you are on a limited income after working 30, 40, 50 years in the US, and all of a sudden your Social Security check is $1,300 a month. Okay, get the concept of that. After you have put a lifetime of work into this country, and you are reduced to $1,300 a month, that's all you get. Okay? So you gotta break that down between food, rent, electric, doctors, medicine, everything. Your life is reduced from getting, you may have been making $80,000, $90,000 a year. And now you're getting $1,300 a month, $1,400 a month, whatever it might have been. And when you see somebody totally stripped of their pride, their dignity, there's just no words to witness that.
Eric, with Stronger Denton, you guys advocate for intelligent infrastructure design, especially with growing cities. Obviously, we have the landmark thing happening north of town. One of the stats that I saw in the episode, which is so interesting, is out of all the renters in Denton, what was it? 68% of them are at the poverty level? It was something like that. It was something after, it was maybe 58%. We'll have to watch the episode and find out, guys. I don't remember. How does a growing city balance that?
They don't. Sorry.
So
That's okay.
I'll like to see the episode too. My guess is that 58% stat is the percentage of renters in Denton who are what we call rent burdened or extremely rent burdened,
Exactly what that is, yeah.
which it means that they're spending more than 30. It's either more than 30 or more than 50. I think more percent
Yeah, it's
of their income on housing, which that doesn't leave much for everything else. Because this is also taken prior to taxes, so when they compute it. I think, I'll give two answers very short, and then you can catch up with me later if you're like, what did he say? That doesn't make any sense. The first answer is that a city should be a platform for people collaborating and building wealth and relationships and great things, right? That means everything from Cameron here being able to start doing a little thing and share it online, which he's been able to do because there's no overlord of online video sharing yet.
They're trying.
But every sort of business, there are rungs of the ladder that we have gradually removed from the ladders, right? So if you want to do any sort of food service, the smallest thing you can do is probably a food truck, right? Well, in order to buy a food truck or a trailer that is going to pass the health regulations, it's probably 15, 20K right now. Then there's et cetera, all the things. Oh, by the way, did you know that a food truck in Denton has to be serviced by a commissary, which the only areas licensed to do that service daily, I think once a week it's required, are over in the industrial park. So if you have a trailer that you don't have a truck to tow, sorry, you're out of luck. You can't get a permit, etc. So that's the first answer, is we need to figure out how to let anybody with an idea safely and easily grow that idea, right? And then the second answer from a affordability housing perspective is basically everything that has been codified in the last 80 years has been done so in the housing realm in order to make the current stakeholders of an area, landowners, etc., happy with their place. And that means if they don't want more people near them, that's fine. They don't get them. That means that when more people do move in because you've got a growing regional economy in DFW, then what happens is the poorest that are there have to move out, right? And that's a huge problem. So how do you solve that? It's a combination of a lot of things, and I'm done.
No, I mean, it's all fascinating. PriceMaster, how much is the average one-bedroom rent going for right now?
Apartments are $10,000.
Yeah, that feels right. We'll have to check the stats on that, but that feels right. Turning it back to anybody that wants to answer, how do we get out of this situation? Is it a federal thing? Is it I mean, there's tons of examples in the episode about how the community has come together, and that's wonderful. I mean, every time, I'm sure you guys have seen, anytime someone is like, hey, there's an unhoused guy that needs this or that, the community is on it. It's one of the coolest things about Denton. But this isn't just about unhoused people. This is, we're all going through this. How do we do better for each other? Yep.
I'll give you an example of something that happened to me. I am a single woman. I'm going to be 58 in a few days.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I looked at a single, one bedroom, nothing spectacular. Okay, I live on Social Security, all right? They wanted $2,000 down, $2,000 security, and $2,000 last month's rent. Okay, number one, a one bedroom, $2,000 a month is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Okay, it's just ridiculous. Let me tell you what, I lived in Southern Illinois. I rented a single home with a nice yard with 2 bedrooms for $500 a month.
And that was only like 5 years ago or something? What
Yeah,
was
that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. It's when people are going to go, okay, well, guess what? This is a college town and they've got grants and all this stuff for housing. So we're going to jack up the price. And you know why I know this? Because where I lived was where SIU was. I know how it works. And it's where John A. Logan was. And any of you that know colleges know those 2 colleges, okay? And I found a independent renter, just a elderly couple. With their previous house, they had another house built. And me and my autistic son moved into that house for $500 a month. Okay, that's the difference between just meeting the mortgage and making a little extra on the side than trying to rape somebody for everything they've got. Okay, and that's what I've lived through, and that's what I've witnessed over many years of renting. Okay, and when you are spending 50% of your income on rent is absolutely ridiculous to me. And when we interviewed, I told him that it's the most ridiculous thing in the world to know I rented a 2-bedroom house in Illinois for $500 a month, and they wanted $2,000 a month here for a 1-bedroom. It's just absurd to me.
Anyone else?
Well, I think it's a joint thing. It's going to take a lot of local people like advocating and doing things. It is going to require the state. It is going to require federal things because I listened to the Daily. They had an episode in like September of 24, where they talked about the housing crisis and how like really we are still really recovering from 2008, and like it took us, and now it's, you know, almost 20 years. So not that it's going to take 20 years to fix a problem. There are ways to get around it, but it's going to take all the different kind of governments working together. And it's advocating for like different zoning or tax breaks, or I think they highlighted this place in Michigan that created this like housing funding, like for like the town to kind of like be able to dip into, which I thought was really interesting. I think one thing as a community, if we are seeing our neighbors and people struggling, we have to let go of the idea of, well, not in my backyard. Like the whole idea of like, well, yeah, we need housing, but not by me. Like, and so if people would let go of that and say, again, my beliefs of like, we need to love our neighbor and like, we need to be sacrificial and do whatever it takes to make sure people are taken care of. I think we need to say whatever it takes to make sure people are not struggling financially and everyone has a place to live. Like, you gotta let go of those things of like, well, I don't want it by me. But it's gonna take all those different local, state, and federal working together. I don't have the full solution, but it's gonna take all of us and a lot of work, a lot of advocating for people.
Sure.
Okay. I'm an impatient man. And so while
Then you're not going to like this episode.
Yeah. So while I am in awe of people who know how to work the larger portions of government at the state and federal level, I cannot do that. I would die. At the other end of the spectrum, we have 2 city council members right here tonight. This is a level where you can go have coffee with people. You can talk with them. Your influence matters, right? How many people know more than 50% of the people on your block? Okay, we have 1.
Getting there.
We get there by reigniting community. There's something that is one of those tropes online where people say, we don't have a housing problem. There's tons of vacant houses in Podunk, Idaho.
Right.
Well, Idaho isn't so podunk anymore. It's actually one of the areas that has the biggest housing crisis, so I should have picked a different state. The point is, this is one of those things that says, we should just like ship all these other people to where empty houses are and that's fine. And it's like, okay, but what are they going to do to earn money? Okay. There is a vision of getting housing that people need at the local level without completely upturning our entire society, which is very simple. It turns that on its head. It says, okay, within our community, how many people here have a room in their home that is not being slept in by somebody? Okay, this is what you call selection bias. I apologize. You all are awesome. But there are a ton of aging retirees, etc., who aren't here tonight and have lots of empty rooms. Many of them are hurting financially as well. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it were easy and legal for them to take one of those rooms, put an exterior door on it, and rent it out to somebody? In many, many cases, that's not legal right now, right? We need a revolution of people meeting their neighbors, understanding what their challenges are, and finding something to improve their situation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, those are all beautiful messages. PriceMaster, we'll end on this, and then we'll get to the episode. The episode's about an hour long, and there are tea breaks, snack breaks, drink breaks. PriceMaster, Thanksgiving's coming up. How much does the normal Thanksgiving meal go for right now?
$6 billion.
That seems about right. Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, panel. Enjoy the episode. Ready to go?